good afternoon, good evening, good morning, anytime you're watching this recording. So how we'll be running us through an end-to-end project I delivered using AWS S3 Bucket and Microsoft Fabrics. So the background is that a client have a platform that dropped a JSON file in an S3 bucket on a daily basis. And this JSON file needs to be transformed incrementally and, appended to an existing table within the Microsoft Fabrics environment. And this existing table is used to create visualization dashboard by used to guide the business decision around their data set. So yes, so that's just the background, and let's see how I was able to achieve that using Microsoft Fabrics and AWS S3 Bucket. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so this is the high level architecture. So one, the source, so the main source is an S3 bucket. So what I did was to using Microsoft shortcut to connect a Microsoft Lakehouse environment, which is my bronze layer, to what we have within the S3 bucket. Then from this bronze layer, that is doing a shortcut to the S3 bucket. So anytime a new file is dropped, automatically it reflects within the bronze layer. And yes, I have the data set available for me to run my transformation. Then I created a Microsoft notebooks, a Fabric notebook. And this notebook, what it does, it looked at the delta between the data set that have been previously loaded into Microsoft Purview and pick the new JSON file. So those new JSON files are processed and appended to the existing table. And that table is stored as a packet file within the transform layer of the data set. So this is like a transformation that we are doing. And this is also another data lake object. Then between the silver layer and the gold layer, I run another form of transformation, and this transformation is to help to split the packet data file into dimension and fact table, which is used for my visualization. So I split into dimension and fact and store as a table within the gold layer. So the gold layer is where at least the data set is, I can say 80%, 90% ready for analytics. Then once we have it within the gold layer, the next step is creating a semantic model on the gold layer. And the semantic model is just an environment where we create relationship links between tables in order to prepare that model for our visualization. Then the last but not the least step is a Power BI report where we do the design, the dashboard, and that's actually what the business want to consume. So the process is just that all these are done within Microsoft Fabric. So we use Lakehouse, and yes, there is also an orchestrator within Microsoft Fabrics whereby we schedule all this flow. So this is a process. This notebook is a process that we want it to run on a daily basis without requiring human intervention. So it's being scheduled, and this also this semantic model refresh, we want it to be automatic. Yes, so that is the architecture. Okay, so so I think I can stop the present. So I think I can stop the presentation. So the first step is the S3 bucket environment. And for the S3 bucket, so what I did was to create a user, and you can say shell, and this user, so I created the user group. So the user group first. Then once I have the user group within the Analytics environment, so I created a user group. And once I have the user group, I'm able to assign a user to that user group, and I give the user group I give the user group I gave the user group access to S3 bucket. So I will just go and show us how that was done. So what we have here is um, the user group. So this is the bucket. So the user group, let me open that up. So I just go to I am user. So if you go to I am user, you can see a user group. So the user group is the Microsoft Fabrics Engineer user group. And within this user group, so we can see the permission that these user groups are having. You can see Microsoft Amazon S3 full access. I just give it because I don't want to. So, and you can see within this user group, we have just one user, which is shown. That's me. So, and automatically that user group, you can see. So also in order to create a shortcut, there's a requirement to have an access key within uh, S3 bucket, and that access key is used to do the configuration in Microsoft Fabrics. Yes, so that's that around creating a user within a user group. So then what's now here is the interface of the user. And since the user only have access to S3 bucket, so the user created this daily transaction folder, and this daily transaction folder, this is just where we dump our daily transaction on a daily basis. So I've created the file. So that's that around the S3 bucket. So the process is create a user group, create a user, then that user is assigned to the user group. Then the user log in as a user, like not the admin at this time, because I'm also using that to monitor the access and what you're doing. So the user create an access key. So that access key is now used to access. So the access key make it looks like you're the one accessing my S3 bucket anywhere from any platform. Yes, so that's that. Then the next step is all these files, they are simulated files. So in how do I, the question is, how do I create this file? So I created this Python script. So you can see a daily incremental transaction script. So it's in the, it will be in the GitHub. So anyone trying to run this, we have access to this. So you download, you install, so it's this Google Colab environment. You do pip install Ficas, UUID, random, date time, then OS. Then you use this Fica, Fica datasets simulator to create like, how will I put it, a demo dataset. So you can see, put the minimum days transaction per day, minimum transaction per day, maximum transaction per day. So we are just, we want to make sure that we have a limited numbers of data set just to test the concept. Then we have the account type. We have, these are predefined, um, predefined categorical values. Yes, so we have the gender, we have the currency, we have other status and all those things. Then we have in terms of the product, we have the customer information. All this information will be pulled together. All this information, a fake data set will be generated for them, and everything will be pulled together within one file. So this is all the details. So currency, all those things, and all these tables, they will also help me in splitting the data set within Microsoft Purview. But we are just thinking that in terms of business, you receive one large JSON file and everything. Then we save the file within the environment. And so I won't be running this now because, so as it's generating the data set, it's recording them one by one and giving, saving it within this Colab environment. So yes, so I won't be running that, but the output. So what I did for the output was it gives me this file. It gives me these files, and with this file, I splitted the data set into 3 sessions so that I can use this one to at least build the concept, complete the concept design, and once the complete design is done, I can use this to um, start the process. Okay, yes, so these are the JSON file. And once you have this JSON file, you can see it's being separated into 3 folders, whereby we just put some specific dates within different folders. And the expectation is that I picked from these files and yes, used in upload this within the S3 bucket. Then once I have it within the S3 bucket, my Microsoft Fabric environment automatically says this. So that's that around the data simulation for this scenario. So yes, so this is the data simulation. And okay, I think it would be good to see. Let's look at one of the folder files and let's see what is inside. Yes, you can see this is the JSON file. So this is a transaction by customer ID, the customer first name, last name, date of birth, the postcode, the address, the email, the phone number, and also there is one important thing about this project around identifying the location of the customer based on his or her laptop IP address. Yes, so we'll be seeing that within the script. So we want to get your IP address and use it to identify where you are making this order for, where the purchase was made from. Yes, then we have all the customer segment. You can see this is just one transaction. So all this information are tracked for each of the transactions, and they are stored in this JSON file. And this JSON file is now what we are loading into Microsoft Fabrics and use for our analytics. Yes, so that's that around the data set. So how we'll be moving to the Microsoft Fabrics environment now, so we can see the process. The process. So first, the step is always whenever you're having a new project in Microsoft Fabrics, you create a something like a workspace. Yes, so you create a workspace. Then once you have the workspace, you can select possibly, so if you want to create a workspace, so as I'm showing this, I'll try and see if I can add, so if I can do an example, a test of it. So to do a workspace, to create a workspace, just say select new workspace, then give it a name, then you apply. So that's just, you create the workspace name, just say transaction trans analytics. All right. So this workspace help you to group your activities within an environment. And that's why it's very important. So you can put a brief description. Then if you have a specific domain, you can say it's optional. Then this advanced. This advanced is also very key. You can say currently I'm using the trial version of Microsoft Fabric. So you must ensure that this version is selected. Then once you select that, you can just click apply. Then once you click apply, you have, so, and you can see the capacity you're working with. So based on the trial version and which other thing, just click apply, then you have it created. So I won't be creating this again because we already have one. Then once you create the workspace, the next thing is to ask you to pick maybe your project pipeline, your project pipeline type. So in this case, we are using the medallion architecture workflow. So it's already there, just to show you that, okay, You have data source, you have the bronze, you have the transformation, you have the silver, you have the transfer another form of transformation, then you have the gold layer, then you have, so that we can see. So maybe if I do another, that one will be longer, but at least step by step, but this one is quite short and direct. So then within each of this process, you now add items. So how do you add items? So you can say new items. So in this case, for this bronze layer, I created a lakehouse. So just press new item. So select a lakehouse. The next step is identifying the AWS link to the data set. Then once we have the link, we use the link to create a shortcut within the Microsoft Fabric-S Lakehouse environment. So let me share my screen so I can show you the process. Okay, so this is my AWS S3 bucket environment. And what we want to get is the URL to this files. So I can come to one of the files. Then you'll see the object URL. So where you need it is from here down here. That's the object URL. And once you have the object URL, that's what you use to set up the shortcut within the Microsoft purview. So I can copy this. So two things. So there's an API key for the key that we've set up in the past and this URL. So the S3 key. Yeah. So if I come to the lakehouse raw, so I can come here. So I can come here. All I have to do is just to say set up a new shortcut. So it will launch the shortcut wizard. Then on the shortcut wizard, I can select AWS S3. So it will ask me to select the existing connection, but I can select a new connection, which I won't be creating, but I'll just show us how to do that. So it will give me the details. Then here I can paste my URL, the one I copied just now. So let me just go back, copy. So this one, object URL. So I can copy it. Okay, I can select this. If I copy this and paste here, but I will delete the file name. So I just say ignore this file, the specific file. Then yes, so it will just say, so it's saying this because I already have authentication key, everything set up here. So it's telling me that based on this URL, I already have something available. So I can say edit connection. So it will ask for your access key. Yes, that's the only thing that is required, access key. So I'm using access key and you need the access key ID, then the secret key. Then once you have those information, you can connect, but note the URL is that part of your items within the bucket without any of the item, without specifying any of the items. So that's your shortcut. And once you create that shortcut, you will have access to all the files. So this is my own shortcut, all the files that are currently existing within your S3 bucket. You can see the highest one, the highest date here is 17th of June. So if you go back to my S3 bucket, you can see that if I go back to my daily transaction, the highest one is 17th. So that's around setting up the raw file. So in this case, like I mentioned, your shortcut reduces the amount of data duplication, so you don't have to duplicate the data set. And now, once you have the data set within Microsoft Fabrics, we can go back to our workspace, and the next step is to create the silver environment, the Silver Lakehouse. In this case, we called it, we called it AWS S3 transformed. So that's where the transformed data set will be sitting. And what's the transformation we're doing here? We're viewing the JSON file in the raw folder, and we are appending, anytime there is a new JSON file, we append it to existing table and load it into the transform layer. That's the lakehouse, the lakehouse that we are using for the transform layer. And to create a lakehouse, all you have to do is just, if you want to add a new item, so this is the bronze layer. You can come to silver layer now that I want to add a new item. So it will give me the option. And I will say, in this case, I'm doing a lakehouse. Just select a lakehouse and set it up. But I won't be setting anything up because we already have it there. This one is showing you 3 items, and you can see these are the items. So if I come to AWS Transformed, I can see the files that I have currently. So all the files that you will be using for maybe your transformation or anything need to be available in that lakehouse before you can make use of it. And this one, how did I get this daily transaction? I can come here, I can create a new shortcut. And this shortcut, I will just specify that it's coming from Microsoft One Lake. So be that I'm using a shortcut that is already available in the raw environment. So I can come here, select the raw, and we just go to the next. Then within the raw, it will ask me which of the files do I need. So I will say I need these daily transactions. And that's how I'm able to, let me see if it will go. It should not go. It will tell me it already exists. Good. So it will show me that this is the file. Already I've created this, so I won't be creating it again. So you just select create. Then you have this guy available here within your environment. So I'll just press cancel. So once you have the data, the shortcut within your lakehouse environment, remember, using the one lake technology, you are not duplicating this data set. You are just creating a shortcut to it. So that shortcut is maybe like 2 KB or 1 KB, just making sure that at least the data set is available. Then once you have this, you can now create a notebook, right? You can create a notebook on this lakehouse. So in this case, I'm not creating a new notebook. I will just select the existing notebook. So it brings out what I've done previously. So in this case, I'm using the transformation notebook. So, I'm using the incremental data load notebook. Apologies. So because this one is the one loading, this notebook is the one sending it to the gold environment. So I'm not doing that. So it's this incremental data loading notebook I'll be opening now. So let's see what we have within the notebook. And first thing, on your left-hand side, you should see the data item that is available within this notebook environment. Good. So if you can see this S3 transformed, yes, then it means your data set within the lakehouse will be available for you to do your modeling within the notebook. But if it's not available, all you have to do is to add item, then you add a new lakehouse or an existing data source. So if I say select a new lakehouse, let's say I want to, okay, in this case, you'll be creating it afresh. If I'm selecting an existing data source, then it will bring all the lakehouse, so I can select maybe raw or anything I want to use. But in this case, since we are creating it on the transformed layer, so by default, it uses the data set that is available on the transformed layer. And let me just have a quick run through around this on the script and see what the script is doing. So this is the silver layer. It's working mainly on the injected data set JSON file. So it will
append incrementally as explained. So first, here I'm importing my required libraries. So PySpark, Spark section, because the notebook within Microsoft Fabric is making use of PySpark. I'm making use of PySpark mainly, and so that's why I needed all this Spark section. Even if I don't, same if I don't even import all these import Spark session, because I noticed something that is by default, but just do the needful in case I don't like guessing things. So, and you can see here that we're using PySpark, Python. So Spark session, I just give the session a name. So get or create. Then the next thing is to define the file path that I'm using for to store my metadata. And this metadata, this is what you have here. And what you have within the metadata is nothing but like I would like a log. Yes, a log of processed files. So whenever this script runs and it's identified new, what's it called, new data set shortcut, it will create like a file that will put their names. And the reason for those names is that next time I'm running this, it will merge all those names together as a list of names and check if those names are what you still have within the shortcut within your S3 bucket. If it notice that there are some delta, which is they are not within this metadata, those are the data set it will pick. Those are the data set name it will pick and process. But if everything has been processed in the past, then the guy will just jump to the conclusion and say, okay, there are no new data sets, so happy days, nothing new to load. But in this case, I won't be running this. I will just show because everything is available. The script is available. So when you're running it afresh, so this one, it will try. So the first one is to create the file. That's the folder where all these metadata information will be stored, and also the data folder. So this data folder is where it's picking the files from. So you can see files, daily transaction. So files go to daily transactions. Then it's also telling you the location to track the process files. So metadata underscore table path. So in this case, that's the metadata side. That's the name. So I'm storing this under files. That's the first hierarchy. Metadata, second hierarchy. Process files. That's the third one. So this third level is where you now have the log, the delta log. Yeah. So if you're running the script for the first time, it will create this one. It will create this meta table path mainly when it's running this. Then the first thing is the next step is to load metadata of already processed file via Sparks. So what it will do is it will read this delta log, and within this data log, it will get your process file set. So it will get all the process files. So once it's able to get the process file, then we go to the next step, which is identifying the list of all the JSON files that we have in the, what's it called, in the S3 bucket currently, and use it to do the detection of the new files. So in this case now, for this example that we have here, so it compared what we have within the metadata environment and the JSON file folder. Then after the comparison, the guy was able to identify the new files to load. You can see it gives you a list of the new files to load. So once you have the list of the new files to load, then it will now go ahead and process this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 files. Then these files, it will now say, okay, I'm going to combine these 5 files. Then after combining them, it will give you the information that, okay, I'm done combining all those files. And you can see everything where it's a union by name. So, so it will process the files. Then the next thing is to update the metadata table. So it's to update the metadata table. So the metadata table, which is this metadata data, so it will update and override what you have there previously, in that it will add the new names to the existing name and create a new file. So in that file, you have the updated list of files that have been processed. Then the next thing you can now see, this is where it now appends the process data output to the existing data set that we have here. If there is any existing data set here, it will just append, and you can see the write mode that is append, and the format is still delta. Then once we have this, so this one is just to display, maybe if there is just to check. So in this case, it will check if they are updated metadata records. So you see the number of tables that the guy is hiding, it has worked with in the past. Yes. So we have that. Then once we have that, the expectation is you now have this delta file, data log within your, what's it called? Your transformed layer, which is the silver layer. Yes, then the next thing is, let's go back here. Then the next thing, once you know that the silver layer is working, you test your script, you add additional tables, which I won't be doing. I will do it on the last set. So once you have that, then you create the next one, which is your what's it called? The next lakehouse, which is your presentation layer lakehouse. And in this case, we are using gold data. And here, like we did for uh, the transformation layer, also we created a shortcut from here to the process output. And where is the process output sitting? It's sitting in the silver layer. This is the output from the silver layer. So I will just say this is the transformed. I'll go to next and select on the files, and I will see my processed. I will see my processed output sitting here. So I'll just select it to next. Then it will now drop it in the transformed. Yes, and that's how I was able to get the process output here. Then once I have the process output, the expectation is I should um, create a normalized data set on this processed output. So it brings in all the data sets, then I extract the customer and the account. So let's see how that is done. So that is done using another Python notebook. So I'll be selecting existing notebook, and this notebook name is called transformation. So I'm transforming the data set into a format, into dimension and fact, that is being used by my good for my good layer semantic model. Yes. So the first one, so code layer data transformation and aggregation, just for me to be able to enrich my data set, clean it, and make it ready for my analytics. So we have all this, and here we're doing some interesting things. First, we are injecting all tables from that process file, and you can see process output, all the data files. So if I come here, I can see, so I'm not specifying the file I'm picking here. I'm just picking everything that is within this Delta file. So if you specify any specific one, it will your report, your data sets won't be complete. So I'm picking everything all over. But remember, it's in the Delta format, so that makes it good. And also, I recommended that in production, if there is a way you can also do this incrementally. But for now, just to understand the concept, I didn't do it incrementally. So first, when you import all the Delta 4 files, you convert it to a table. So it's read it and convert it to a table. Then once it's converted to a table, the name of the table is this data frame table. So that's the DF. So now this DF now, and I have to create all my dimension table. First, I'm creating the customer dimension table. So in this customer dimension table, I'm doing select. So I'm picking these columns, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 columns. Then I added something called the customer key, which is a monotonically increasing ID. So one after the other. Then once I have that, I will now and remember this one, I'm selecting the extent of this record. So where these 9 columns, is it 9? yes, 9 columns are distinct altogether. So it will select and assign a customer key to them. Then I now turn that customer key dim and now selected all these columns and put them inside customer key. And what am I adding? I'm just adding customer key. So I'm saying my customer dim is now select this customer key, customer ID, and all those other things. So that makes my customer dim. Then I did the same thing for product. Select all the columns that are related to product, attach the product key to it, then select all those columns. So also for account key, every information that is related to account, assign account key also, then select the 4 columns. Then the payment table also, every information related to payment, put them in one bucket and assign payment key. Yes. Then also for the location. So the location is an interesting bit in that we are using your customer's laptop IP address to identify where they are transacting with us from. So in that case, I'm using a library just to let me see if I can. So I'm using the library request. I think yes, request and this random. So I will explain what random is doing when I get. So random is anyone that, because like I mentioned, they are simulated data set. So any data set it identify that maybe they didn't have the region, they don't have country, they don't have city, it will just assign this random value to them. So rather than returning blank. But anyone that have proper what's it called? Proper proper IP or something, yes, then that one will now be assigned the actual value from this request API call. Yes, and this one I identify one IP address and I want to use this to test. So this one is through IP address. So this IP now, and I say okay, give this guy priority. Then all IPs are now from my laptop address. I selected distinct record. So I don't want, in case maybe, it's a simulated data set. So anytime you see any duplicate IP, it will just use the single one. So it won't be replicating the process. So it will select the duplicate unique IP. Then what I now did was to remove my that initial IP. I removed it from all the IP list. Then I now created another list called unique IP, whereby I bring this guy forward. So because another thing about request is because it's a free, I'm doing free IP calls, and there is a limit of I think maybe 40 to 45 IP calls per minute, API calls per minute. So with this, I'm able to do the API calls for the ones that are priority, just to confirm that it's working. Then the other ones that are unique. So, and just to see how the thing works. Then I increase the timeout to like 5. Then it gets all the information. Then, like I said, if not country, then use country.random.choose. That's where random is coming in. But you can say request is the one getting the actual value. So if the status is success, then you'll be able to get the country, get the region name, and get the city. But if the status is not successful, it will just return no. And for those no, it will just use the random data set I've recommended, just not to have unnecessary blanks in my data set. Yes. So then I have this. Then I use this one to create a struct type, uh, data type string, string, string. Then I now created a table specifically for location dimension. So what I will be using this table for, like the star schema, you connecting to laptop address back on my transaction table. So yes, that's the main thing. But I now have the location key and all those things. Yes. And now once I have that, I now move to creation of the fact table. So in the fact table, my fact table is my data frame, that's the DF. Then this fact table, I joined. So what I'm doing is first, I first of all join customer dimension to the fact table, which is this guy, where, see how I'm joining it, where the customer ID on fact table is equal to customer ID on customer dim. Now, the moment I'm able to join both tables together. See what I now did? And I said, okay, once you are able to join it successfully, drop. So I'm doing a left join. So drop all these columns. And if you notice, the only column that is missing here is what? Customer key, compared to what we have here under customer dimension. You can see customer ID, first name, all these things are there. So I'm dropping all these 9 columns and I'm retaining. I hope I've not scattered something. Let me just press Ctrl Z. So I'm retaining the customer key table, customer key column. So that's how I'm cleaning up my fact table. Initially, the JSON file, when being transformed, it will give you a fact table. So that fact table is now what I'm transforming, reducing the size such that I have actual fact table that will be used for my analytics. So now at the end of the day, what is the remaining thing here is the customer key. So which will be used as my link for my star schema. Then I did the same thing for product, um, keeping only the product key, but dropping every other columns related to product. Did the same thing for account, did the same thing for payment, and also for payment status. I just use because I just dropped for payment status because I'm using under like payment. I'm using payment ID also, so I'm dropping that. Then I have the laptop IP address. So I'm also dropping everything around country, region, and city, those columns, because I already have them in the what's it called? The location dim. Yes. So once I have that, at the end of the day, this is now my final columns within the fact table. So I have customer key, customer segment, product key. The reason I'm leaving customer segment, it changed. So you can be in loyal customer today, then maybe in the next 2-3 weeks, you have changed to another segment. So that's that. Then we have the product key, account key, then all those other ones. Then the next step is we export this report results as a table. And the reason why this is important is if I export them as what's it called? A Delta file, I will still need to come here and transform them to table. And that will involve like a manual process. But because we want to automate this process, we are now saying that just do an override, override everything back into the presentation layer, but write it as a Delta table. And you can see now it's a table. So save as table, all my ref files as table, right? Then, so this is saving all the dimension tables. This is saving the fact table. Then once this is done, I can go back to our workspace. So in our workspace, so that's what the transformation layer is doing it for the good layer. And we can see, so if I go back to the presentation layer, like I mentioned, you can see all the tables and you can view them here. Just to view, have a preview and be sure that it's working. And remember, it's a transformation Python script that is doing all the loading of these tables. All these are demo data sets, so nothing to worry about. Then the next thing now is we have our good data set. So the next thing is to create a semantic layer on this data set. And that semantic layer is where you build your Power BI, your reporting model. So I always I say Power BI model. So if you go to semantic model, so it will ask you, do you want to, and this semantic model, all you have to do is specify the name. I won't be creating a new one, but I'm just showing how. So I can do, so I won't be selecting all. So I will say, okay, this is the workspace I'm working with. So it's telling me which DBO object do I want to select. I will select the table and select all these guys, right? So I will select all this. So these are the tables. And now somebody might be asking why is it not bringing up the lakehouse? Because remember, this semantic model is created on the AWS S3 presentation lakehouse. So I don't need to specify lakehouse. You already know the lakehouse I'm working with. And if you open the view, it will show you, okay, this product name, because I later created a view on this product thing to split the name. But when you are creating this for the first time, these are the tables that are available for you. So just select this and confirm. So in this case, I won't be working with this. I will just cancel this. Then once you create that semantic model, let me show you the semantic model. So this is the semantic model. If I come to visualization, so this is my semantic model. So if I come to open data model, I think. Yes, so you have an interface like this. If you're familiar to Power BI, you should be familiar to this interface. Then on this interface, you can see here, this is now where I do my data modeling as expected. So I can do my data modeling here and all those things. So once I do my data modeling, I think, so you can, yeah, I'm in viewing mode now, I can edit. So if I go to, so this is the data modeling view, and I can edit my tables, I think. Yeah. So if I want to select new tables or I want to refresh my tables, yes, I can do it here. And here you can see, I've asked this guy to drop the main product name and use this product name view. I think I will go back and show you how to create this view within the Lakehouse table environment. So now here you just join your model together, your data set to create the relationship. And here you can do some interesting things around your column, such as modifying the data types. You can see, you can change the data types, you can do some major data transformation and cleansing here. Yes, then which other thing? Also here, you can do row level security. You can do manage rows. You can do manage rows there. So people using your semantic model, you can restrict them that based on their email, there is a specific kind of data set they can have access to. Yes. And so if you want, if maybe on your table, you've done some transformation, you can always, like I showed you, you can always go back here and change the kind of data set tables you're using within your semantic model. And also I created this date table. And for this date table is just to get everything I feel I will be needing around date so that I can have them connected. So I created this table and I made it my, what's it called? Date table. So the guy will know that, okay, this is my date table. You can see. Yes. So then I also created a measure, just a measure table such that it can house all the measures I'll be using in my calculation, in my report. So all the major measures like unique customers, total revenue, total payment attempt, and total other repeat customer rate, payment success rate, payment refund rate, last date of, and all those things. Last report date. This is very key because that's what I'm using to track if my file is actually refreshing. Then average order value and all those mathematics. Yes, so let me go back to my workspace. I said I wanted to show us how to created view. And so if I come here, I can, uh, you can see it's currently showing as a lakehouse. I can come here and say, I want to see it as my SQL endpoint. Okay, good. So it comes here and show me my SQL endpoint. I know I did a uh, okay, I knew I did something on my SQL endpoint, but let me see. If I just select new query. Yes, so I can do, let me see if I can select anything from this table. Okay, so let me just say select top 100. Good. So this is my query. So select top 100 from DIM account. So it gives me this and this view. Like I mentioned, if I come to product, let me just select top 100 also from DIM product. So this select top 100, very important in SQL because that's what you need to actually see what is going on within your data set. And you don't have to type. But now you can see where the problem is. So I'm seeing my product name, I'm seeing product. And this is not required because this is, I already have prod 11, my product ID. So I don't need it here. That's repetition. So I need something to split this product story and this name. I actually need this name for my analysis. So if I come here and I edit view, so if I come here and I alter this view now, so this was the view I used to split that out. And if I run this, so let me run only the select aspect first, so you see how it works. So if I run only the select aspect, and you can see, okay, good. You can see the product type. So I use this product name to generate my product type. So that product type, do we have product type previously? No. You can see here there is nothing like product type. So I use this guy to generate my product type. And so I can now choose that if I want to stress myself using this name or I just want to stick to my product type. So now you can see, yes, you can see my product category. So after removing all those things, so I won't be walking us through all those stress. So we just have the product type, and that product type now can be used for what's it called, for my analysis. So this is the product type. Yeah. Hopefully my head is not blocking it too much. So let me move this way so you can see the product type. Yep. All right. So once you have that, and you can see I'm creating product then view. So that's the only view you have here. So that's that. Then the next step is using this semantic model. The semantic model. Let me just select this again. Where we're going is the reporting. So if I select this semantic model, I can go to my open model. So if I go back to edit, good. So this is my semantic model. Then I can go to this file and create a new report. If I select create a new report, it generates a Power BI file for me. So which I won't be creating. I will just show you the Power BI stuff that I've created because of time. So and here, Power BI reporting is all about your creativity. There is no limit to what you can do. Anything is just based on your so you just come here, select your file, select, so you can see all the tables have been processed. So select, just create anything, and so you can use the measure table and say maybe you want to get total payment by country, and you see the information comes here, and yes, you have it. So I won't be saving this. I'll just close this up. So let me leave this. Then, so what I did was create all these reports. And what I did was to use this guy to create this report you're seeing here. So, and there's the analysis. Good. And you can see it's from Analytics. So this is the report. So select this report. Once you click here, it takes you to the report, and you see all the beautiful, all these are just design. But the main thing I wanted to see is the last refresh date, which is the June 17th that is still showing here. So if you have this, then at least just make sure you're tracking it in your report, and you can go to any of the other pages. So if you go to customer page, so this is analysis around customers, what customers are doing, customer behaviors and everything. And I think this guy too is also dynamic, but because it's a, what's it called? Seems is a paid icon. But you can see the icon is changing if it's a female, if it's a male, based on the customers you're selecting, it should change and all those things. All those things are just fancy things just to make things look beautiful. But having said that, then the next thing now is how do we automate this process such that we won't have to be running everything step by step whenever we have a new data set loaded. And that is where our master pipeline orchestrator comes in. And let's see what that pipeline looks like. So, okay, let me clear the filter. And you can see this AWS transaction master pipeline. So this master pipeline is, it has three parts. Yes, one is the notebook, the first notebook for the incremental loading, then the second notebook for the transformation, and the third notebook is for the semantic model refresh. The third layer is the semantic model refresh. And see what we're doing. This one, I'm just saying that, okay, whenever I run this pipeline, first of all, run this incremental load pipeline. Then this one is telling you to run silver layer is just the description. And this is the settings. This is where the main thing. So here, all you have to do is to select, in this case, if I want to add a new item, I'll just select the item. Is it a notebook or something? In this case, it's a notebook. I'll just select notebook. Then I have the name to set up the brief description for other users. Then I will now do the configuration by selecting the notebook that is available within my workspace. So the same thing. So once that incremental loading is successful, then you should, once successful, that's why on success, you should now run the second one, which is the transformation, which is where we do the splitting of data set into dimension and transactional data set. Then the next one is once you're done doing it. So by the time this one is done, we have data set in the silver layer. By the time this one is done, we have data set in the gold layer. So after having this in the gold layer, the next thing is to, what's it called? Is to ensure that we refresh a semantic model. But rather than going there to refresh it manually, at least this pipeline can run it and um, update it automatically for us. So because now, then this one you can add a trigger, you can schedule. So you can come to the schedule and say, okay, this guy run it. You can say the scheduling is off. So because I don't want to be incurring unnecessary credits on Fabrics for now. So I can say repeat by daily. I can say you should repeat it, you should refresh daily, and I can put the start date and end time. But for now, let's switch it off and let me discard. Then you can validate your pipeline. It's always good to validate your pipeline. So in case if there is any error, this guy will tell you your pipeline has been validated. So let me do this. So let me just copy something. Okay. Okay. So if we come to this workspace and we go to the report, so this is my BI report. So now we'll be testing the workflow to be sure it works well. So if I come to my revenue analytics, I will check the last date, that's June 17. So I'll go and look for the June 18 file and upload it into my S3 bucket. So if I come here to my S3 bucket, so I'm looking for June 18 file now. So just go to upload. So I will add file. So in this case, these are my daily transactions. This 18th. So this is 18th. So I'll select 18th. And I can select, let's select multiple. Let's see what will happen. Let's select 3. Right? Let's select 3. So 18 to 20. So let me open this. So these are my three files that will be added. Now let me upload. Good. So once this is uploaded, all I have to do is to come back here, come to my master pipeline. I won't go through, so I will just execute my master pipeline. So it's telling me you have unsaved changes. Let me cancel. I don't want to save anything for now. So let me just run. Let me save and run. I didn't change anything. So let me save and run. All things being equal, this should initiate my pipeline. So it's running, successfully running. That's a good news. I'm expecting some information here. Perfect. It's coming up. Good. So it has started the incremental loading pipeline. So let's see. Okay. This is like the time to test or everything we've been discussing. So you can see, let's imagine we schedule this. It means if you schedule it to run in the morning, before you come into office in the morning, this guy has already initiated itself, running and executing tasks even while you are still at home. So imagine you're the one that report on this daily transaction stuff. Maybe there are some key things you report to stakeholders. You can see how Microsoft Fabrics makes things quite easy. So imagine you develop this report now. It means on a daily basis, your stakeholders can see what is going on with the business and at least use it to plan. So they are making judgment with data set. And yes, first one is successful. So it means our Python script is working fine. Don't conclude yet. Is our report that we confirm if it's working fine, but at least you can see this one is successful. It means all the line by line steps within the incremental load pipeline, incremental load notebook. Yes, it's working fine. This one always take like maybe 2 to 3 minutes because this is where the major transformation is going on. Mapping, laptop IP address, searching for their correspondent location, getting their country, and splitting the data set into dimension and fact. Yes. So yes. So that's why this one actually normally actually takes quite a number of time. But yes. So but while that is done, so Microsoft Fabrics is a very interesting tool. Is a very interesting environment, and it just takes your interest and your time to learn. And you can see here, I'm using the free version. So I have 20 days left. So hopefully, maybe if Microsoft sees my activities, they can choose to extend it. And if not, if I have some interesting projects, I can subscribe. So they have very flexible subscriptions based on what you want to do as an organization. I remember my first BI project then, there was no flexibility around subscription, and people have to pay huge sum of money to subscribe to Power BI. But this, at least, we have all the tier one, tier two. Maybe I will at the end I can just show you the subscription. So I can just go. Let me while this one is loading. Let me try and see if I can get that. If I can get that Microsoft Fabrics subscription. So if I want to get buy Microsoft Fabric subscriptions, uh, uh, where is my yes with capacity code? I'm not saying no. So there is a table. There is a table that shows you the capacity I can see it now. Maybe yes, and these are some major architecture around Microsoft Fabrics, start Fabrics trial. So that's what I'm using currently. So if you want to start trial capacity, yes, it's available. And I always use Microsoft Learn. So you can go read about it, about the documentation, very robust. So you just activate your trial. So if you are here and okay, maybe I'll move this to the front. So because at least it's good to know what Microsoft Fabric says before you start doing the project. So capacity and talking about things around One Lake. You even have Copilot that can guide you, help you to fast track most of these tasks that we are doing. Then we have Purview, which is just around data governance and sensitivity labeling and all those things. Then, and you can see everything is sitting on One Lake. So those data sets we are getting it actually from the One Lake. So yeah, and which other thing? So the component database, like for me, we are actually looking for the subscriptions. So start trial review. So these are to activate your trial version as an organization. Uh, so I didn't see that table, but it's fine. Let's see how our data set is working. 2 minutes, 26 seconds. Oh, perfect. So 3 minutes, 49 seconds. So that's fine. And this one used 48 seconds. So the next thing is let's go to our analytics. And what we do is I need to refresh this page so I can see. Oh, the guy is updated itself. Oh, can you see? Voila, it worked. Well done. And once you see that this one is working, once you see that it's working, I think that's a very good thing. So if you see that it's working, I think that's very nice. So once you have this, so it means your Microsoft Fabrics environment, you are able to complete an end-to-end project using Microsoft Fabrics, and it's updating real time. So as things are dropping, once the master pipeline runs, you have what's it called? You have your you have your report. You have your report. All right. So let me stop sharing and share again. I just want to do something. So now that we have this, okay. So I think that's it mainly. So that's your Microsoft Fabrics. So we've been able to complete our Microsoft Fabrics end-to-end project using um, Amazon S3 bucket, which is where we are storing our JSON files. And from that S3 bucket, we are able to connect to shortcut to Microsoft Fabrics. And we now use this data set within the shortcut to run our transformation, our analytics, and we build our pipeline. And this pipeline method that we use, this is what they call the medallion architecture. So if I come back here, so the medallion architecture, mainly the main thing about the medallion architecture is that you should have the bronze layer, which is mainly called the raw layer. That's your injection. So rather than we injecting manually, we use the shortcut. And that's why everything is as is. So if I even go to the bronze layer to go and verify, we've seen that the data set is working, but we can go back there and see. You can see it's now still, what's it called? It's now refreshed. Let me just refresh this page. So because at least our report is showing 28. So why is this one still showing 20 and 17? So let's see. So once we refresh, so it should be seeing up-to-date information. That's just the reason why I'm refreshing. We should see 20 now. All things being equal. So if I come here and we can see 20. Yes. So it means it's working and you can see the date, the time, and all those things. So once we get this, then So the medallion architecture talks about you creating the bronze layer. The bronze layer, you do one or two transformation and it moves to the silver layer, another one or two transformation, then you have it on the gold layer. Then on the gold layer, that's where you build your semantic model and your analytics report. Yes, I hope this has been helpful, and you can see all the files that we've created, we've linked it to a task. And this tag is how to track your project except the pipeline, because the pipeline is like running everything. So that's why we didn't attach it to a specific task. But we know that at least we can set up, and all the refreshes, everything is properly documented, updated as required. Yes, so I think that's our end-to-end project, real-time daily transaction analytics using AWS S3 bucket and um, Microsoft Fabric's environment. So I hope you learned a lot from this. And yes, we'll be uploading some of the videos based on the experience. I'll be uploading some of the videos based on my experience, and make sure everything, all the files is available for viewers to use and recreate this project on their own. So hopefully it's able to support you in one way or the other on your data engineering journey. And please, if you have any comments, ensure to drop it in the section below, and let's keep learning. I remain Oluwaseun, and this is from Samlytics Data Service. If you have any data project you're doing in Microsoft Fabrics and you think we can be of help to you, please do not hesitate to reach out. We'll be happy to see the kind of transformation and intelligent project you're doing within your environment. I will be happy to support you. All right. Thank you for your time, and see you in our next video. Thank you.